Excellent. Upstate New York, Colorado, Pennsylvania. I'm in Wyoming. Lindsay's in Illinois. A big shout out to Lindsay Douglas. She is my moderator, has a little wrench next to her name. New Hampshire, California. Excellent. Thanks for letting me know you can hear me. That's great. Fantastic. Okay, we'll wait a minute or two for everybody to arrive. Oh, Georgia, Texas, Illinois. Awesome. Great. Another from Texas. Fantastic. So one thing I wanted to kind of start off by saying is type in the chat how often you think maybe we should do the live streams. Like, I'm not sure. I don't know. Do we want to do them every week? Do we want to do them every other week? Like twice a month? Do you think once a month is sufficient? Like, I don't know. Will I run out of things to talk about? So I don't know. How often do you think that you would want to come and hang out and type and ask questions? So I'll see what you think about that. Oh, also, Jenny's here from Australia. Absolutely awesome. Okay. And this is I think it's like 18 hours or something ahead in Australia. It's actually Wednesday afternoon for Jenny. That's fantastic. Okay. Linda's from Virginia, Washington, Southeast Washington, like Spokane-ish area, Tennessee. Wow, Chen Yimei. Hopefully I said your name right. I don't even know what time it would be in Taiwan. That's so cool. We have people from all across the world. Wow. That's really fantastic. Val's here from British Columbia, Canada, Oregon, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. There's Georgia. I mean, Georgia's your name, from Pennsylvania / New Jersey. Every day. I don't know if I have them. Well, I mean, I could do every day, but yeah, then I'd have to talk about all kinds of other stuff. Oh, speaking of which, coming up here in April and possibly into May, depending on who's due when. You all know I live on a farm. So know that if I schedule a live stream and I don't show up or something happens, we will post in the Facebook group. I have 5 goat mamas that are due to have their babies. So if I unexpectedly am not able to do a live stream, that would be why. If I have to literally be performing midwifery services in the barn. So sometimes it happens. Last year, I had to assist in some goat baby births. So yes, if something happens, I would post a message. Probably what I would do would be to shoot a message off or a text to one of my moderators in the Facebook group, and then they would post letting you know that I was unavailable and elbow deep in a cow or whatever. So yes, it happens. So, okay. So a quick reminder, if I schedule a live stream, what I've decided to do, since I had some trouble with the encoder and the technological difficulties that are inherent with YouTube scheduling a live stream, what I'm going to do is update the header, the channel art at the top of the page saying the date that the next live stream will be. So I just think that's easier. And then you can comment in the Facebook group or the Ravelry group, either one. Or if you have questions that you want me to address, that's great. So we'll do it that way. And if for some reason I'm unable to come, then I'll have somebody post in the Facebook group for me. Probably Val or one of the other moderators. Okay, let me scroll back up here. I'm going to arrange so that I can see all of the chat messages, hopefully in chronological order. So what I'd like for you to do is, if you have a question, type in caps the word question, : type in caps the word question, and then type your question normally. You don't have to type the whole thing in caps, just the word question, so that I can filter that out in the stream of chat consciousness here. And if I miss one, I will apologize ahead of time. Lindsay will repost, copy and paste, and repost, and that will get my attention, because she's blue and has the wrench, and so that's fantastic. Okay. Any news on the knitting retreat? Yes. The knitting retreat will be held in Ogden, Utah, October 3rd through 6th. I have the registration link forthcoming. Lindsay and I are working on the website where we're putting the information up on the website. I will open up registration to my patrons first because they financially support my YouTube channel. I feel that's only appropriate to open up the possibility of them having first chance at registration. So look for that. If you are a patron, I will post the link for registration and the hotel accommodations and all that stuff in the patron group first. And then I'll open, after they've had a chance to do their registration for at least a couple of weeks, then I'll open it up to everyone else if there are seats left. The retreat, since it's my very first one, I want to make sure that I give all the attendees the time that they deserve for traveling and coming. And so it is limited to 32 spots. Right. So that's how that's going to work. So watch for announcements. If you're a patron, you'll have first right of refusal, so to speak. Okay. All right. Somebody asked about yarn, Hayfield yarn. I've never heard of that. I have not knitted with that. Okay, reading, let's see. Bridget says, how do I carry the main color and contrasting colors in the round on the foot of a sock? In the same way that you would carry your colors in the round on the hat knit along we just did. So if you're curious how I carried the colors, go watch the part 2 video for the hat knit along that we just finished. And the principle is the same. I realize that you'll have much smaller yarn on your sock and smaller needles, but the principle and the way you go about it would be the same. Wow, the color is wigging out on my monitor. Sorry about that. Okay. Question, can I do a hat? Can I do the hat you just finished in sock yarn? You know, Georgia, you could, but you would just need to do the math. So if you wanted to knit the Norwegian star hat using sock yarn, what I would do is measure your head. So my head's approximately 22 inches. And then I would swatch with the sock yarn. So I normally get 8 to 9 stitches per inch on sock yarn. So do the math. 8 times 22, put me on the spot, is 168. Then I would minus 10% from that because you want a little bit of negative ease. 168 minus 10% would be 152. Then you want to end up with a multiple of 16 for that chart. So whatever multiple of 16 is closest to 152. And then I would cast on and go for it. And then you'll just have lots of little stars and it will look really cool. And post, if you decide you want to go ahead and do that, post in the group, certainly, Georgia, if you have questions. Right. Oh, thanks, Bridget. That's awesome. Hello from Rosalie is here. Awesome. Good. Alabama. Perfect. Okay. I don't know about the timestamps, if I have this going in the right chronological order or not. So, Lindsay, type and tell me if was Georgia's the last actual question? Lindsay, could you type yes or no? Live stream the goat births? No. 1, because I don't have that good an internet connection in the barn. And 2, because my goats like their privacy. And 3, because I don't think you need to see me in my slime in the barn. Oh, there it is. Barb says, have you ever knit with Hayfield yarn? I am not familiar with that brand. Okay, Denise, if you posted a question on Facebook, I'm not over there. So if you could retype it, copy and paste it here, that would be helpful. Because I'm here right now. I'm not looking at Facebook at the moment. So, okay, Vonnie says, question, in the Hermione's Everyday Sock, I might have pronounced that wrong, Hermione? Yeah, anyway. How to change the color on the heel, is it best to do it in the row that is knit before the heel flap starts? I don't. I change it right in the very beginning, first row of the heel flap. Hermione's Everyday Sock, the tutorial that I have on the playlist, it's from the cuff down. You can knit that pattern either way, toe up or cuff down. I have knitted lots of contrasting toes, heels, and cuffs. I changed my color right at the beginning of the heel flap. In fact, like right there. At the beginning of the heel flap. This is actually yarn that changes color on its own, but the principle is the same. So I would do it right away. And then I would change back to the main color after you complete the heel turn and before you pick up the gusset stitches along the side of the heel flap. That's when I would change back. I have another playlist on the YouTube channel on the basic cuff down socks where I knitted them in kind of a oatmeal colored yarn with brown trim cuff that's brown, and then the heels and toes were also that brown. And you can see on that tutorial when I change colors. Okay, hopefully that answers. Hi from Massachusetts, Michigan. Okay. Oh my gosh. You know what? The Interweave Festival in Loveland, Colorado, I don't know. I was super tempted to go. That's 2 or 3 hours from here. But here's the problem. In southeast Wyoming, it's going to rain and snow and sleet on Thursday, Friday. And it's my kids' spring break. So we're kind of got some family plans. I thought about going to the Yarn Fest, but it's a little too people-y for me, honestly. But if you're going to go, Tammy, I would love to see photos. Like, I would love to live vicariously through you. Like, post in the Facebook group what all's going on. If you decide to go, let me live vicariously through you. Okay, Rosalie says, have you done an afterthought heel? I have not. I understand the concept. I have not yet tried it. That's another thing that's on my list of stuff I want to do. I get the concept of it. I think it's a neat idea if I kind of have a high instep. So like for me, this part of my foot, I don't necessarily have a high arch like down here, but it seems like the distance between the top of my foot right over my heel seems to be kind of large. I mean, I don't have like particularly fat ankles or anything, but I haven't done an afterthought heel because I was concerned that how would I have enough gusset increase? I'm not sure about that. But if some of you are wondering, an afterthought heel is simply you knit a big tube and then you put in some waste yarn here and then you knit the heel afterward. And that also makes it handy to replace the heel if you wore a hole and you needed to just replace only the heel. I haven't done that. So on my list. Oh, Amanda's, you're going to do the harvest cardigan for the wee one? That's fantastic. I'll look forward to seeing that in the group. Oh, the socks I just held up. This is Arnie and Carlos Perfect, Pairfect. It's their color design line from Regia, however you say that. So finally, you can find that on Ravelry just by searching Perfect in the yarn portion of Ravelry. It'll pop right up. Okay, hi from Oregon. Several people from Oregon. I lived on the coast near Newport for 15 years. Both my kids were born there. What is the most ambitious? Okay, Ambi, you're lucky I saw your question. Type the word question in caps. What is the most ambitious project you've ever made or attempted? I'm going to say the Morvark shawl. I'll type that in the chat, and you guys can look it up on Ravelry if you like. The Morvark shawl pattern by Lucy Haig. She is brilliant. She's a brilliant Celtic knotwork designer. She has some fantastic things. The Morvark is by far the most complicated like Celtic knotwork piece that I've tried to do. I did not finish it. I will attempt it again. And the reason I had to frog it was because you've probably heard this. Some of you have heard this story before. I left it out. Shame on me. It was my own fault. I left it on my desk. It's this fantastic diamond-shaped Celtic knotwork, and you knit the center diamond first, and you have provisional live stitches on each edge of the diamond. Then you pick up the side of the diamond and you knit out. So it ends up being a big rectangular piece. Well, I had completed the center motif in the middle, and I had started to pick up one of those edges and knit out, and I left it on my desk, and one of my butthead cats nested all over it, which would have been fine. I mean, I don't mind a little dog hair, but he started this, he started doing that kneading. In my house, we call it making biscuits. So he started this, and he snagged and pulled up several stitches, and I wasn't able to fix it. I mean, I wasn't able to ease them back in. I tried getting it wet. I tried blocking it. I tried easing it back in, pulling on the cables from the other side. it was just super jacked up. So I ended up having to frog it, but I have the yarn. Actually, this is some of it. This is some of the yarn. It was a kind of a foresty green, and I will reknit that shawl. I loved it. It was fantastic. Heidi Gillespie, who is my dear friend, who's a 911 dispatch supervisor in Nebraska. We did a podcast together. You may have seen that on the channel. We started our Moorvark shirts together during a knitting weekend at our family cabin in the mountains. We started our shawls together, and she successfully finished hers. Shout out to Heidi for that. And hers is fantastic. So I will finish it. All right. Scary part is the cutting the sock. Yes, definitely. Okay. Let me scroll back and make sure I didn't miss anything here. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about. Oh, Vanessa says, Barbara, it is hard because the knits and symbols change on the right side and wrong side. Well, oh, sorry. Now, Barbara, I'm sorry. I'm seeing your question. Okay, block for the month. I'm still having trouble reading the chart. Okay, Barbara, did you check on the video that I linked to about how to read a chart? Or is it just like, do you understand the concept and you're just having trouble implementing it? It does take some practice. I'm looking for my chart so I can show you. Okay, so if I'm knitting this back and forth, this is number 4, which we haven't gotten to yet. But if I'm knitting this back and forth, then I'm going to go on row 1. Row 1 on most of these, it's the wrong side. So normally you would knit the right side row 1, but not in this case. So the wrong side you're going to knit, see, my screen is mirror image, so I'm having to look to make sure I'm telling you right. You're going to knit the wrong side from left to right, and then you're going to knit the right side in the same way that you normally would if you're knitting in the round, from right to left, the same way that you work across your needles. So you're going to go from left to right, and then up 1, turn your work, and now you're on the right side, and you're going to go back across. When you get to the end of the even row, number 2, you turn your work, and you're going to go up 1 row to number 3 and back across. So you're just zigzagging back and forth like this in the same way that you're flip-flopping your work. Okay. Does that hopefully that makes sense. Yes, thanks, Lindsay. I saw it right after you did that. Okay. And Vanessa, they do change, but but it's because they're opposite. So on the right side rows, the knits are the squares and the dots are the purls, in the same way that the purl bumps are looking at you, those are the dots. Well, when you turn your work over, purls become knits on the wrong side, right? It's the same way with the chart. It's the same as how you look at it when you're looking at your work. Okay. Jill from Wisconsin says, I've done baby socks and I'm looking forward to doing adult size socks. Will there be a great deal of difficulty in changing sizes? Any advice to avoid frogging? It's the same construction totally. If you've knitted baby socks with fingering weight yarn, regular size sock weight, you're doing the exact same thing. You're just going to be casting on more stitches. That's all it is. It's more stitches and a bigger circumference around. That is all. Ambi says, what crafts other than knitting do you do? I'm a little bit addicted to chess, crossword puzzles, my farm animals, but, crafts. You said crafts. What other crafts do I do? I don't know. I have other hobbies. I don't really have many other crafts. Well, that's not true. I do spin some. Sometimes I spin. It's been a long time since I've done any spinning. My mom is really good at spinning and she uses the wheel, whereas I'm a drop spindle. I prefer the drop spindle. So I've done quite a bit of that, but it's been a while. It's been a while since I've done a lot of that. I don't know if you'd consider it a craft, but when the goats are in milk, then I like to make cheese and yogurt and like farm stuff. It's not really crafty in the same way that knitting is. But yeah. And other hobbies, backpacking. I got into backpacking last summer. So yeah, that helped me. Backpacking and hiking, that helps me lose weight. And I like to be out off the grid in the middle of nowhere. Okay. Let's see. Amanda has a question. When knitting the harvest cardigan for the newborn pattern, what size crochet hook should I use to start with size 6 circular? Yeah, if you're doing the provisional cast on around the needle, the crochet hook is just to help you get there. It doesn't matter a whole lot. I think I would use whatever can grab the yarn appropriately. I don't think I'd get too hung up on that. Amanda, when you start the harvest cardigan, make sure you watch part 1.5 on that playlist, because there is a discrepancy in the provisional cast on with the way the pattern suggests to do it and the way that I did it. There is a discrepancy, so make sure you watch that first. Kathleen says closet crochet. Yeah, no. No, not really. No. Good try. You cracked me up. All right. Afterthought, he'll comment. Two Lady Homesteader says, I knit 4 to 5 rounds after I pick up the stitches. Cut hole makes room for a high arch. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, Valerie C says, I wanted to let you know, because of your podcast, I tried the Norwegian star hat. My first time attempting stranded colorwork, loving it, making great. Excellent, Valerie. You should post your progress in the group. We'd love to see it. Denise says, hi from Montana. How do you block your Aran knits? I have a video about blocking, so watch that. It's not very long. Basically, the video shows me blocking a panel, a large modular pattern that I'm doing for another Celtic Afghan, and I just soak it in some water. Some people use some vinegar or a very mild soap for that. I usually just use a tiny bit, and I soak it in lukewarm, cool-ish water, especially if it's 100% wool. You don't want hot water, and no agitation at all. I just let it soak and let the yarn bloom, and then watch the video to show how I roll it up in a towel, squish all the water out, and then block it. So, okay, Esmeralda says, not sure if you've answered this question. Not today, I haven't, so that's fine. How long have you been knitting? And I don't mind answering questions from previous weeks. That's totally fine, because we have different people every time, so don't hesitate about that. Okay. I think, if I remember, I started knitting as a child. I do not actually recall the process of learning to knit, but I think my grandmother taught me at some point when I was a kid. I don't remember that. I don't remember learning to read either. I don't remember a lot of things I learned as a child. So I'm not sure at what point, but then I didn't do much with it until I was in my early 20s. Then I started knitting quite a bit. One of my very first projects besides socks was I knit a Lopi Icelandic style sweater for my husband way back when. And this is 25, almost 30 years ago. So, yeah, about 30 years, maybe. I've been knitting obsessively for about 15 years, all the time, every day. Right. Okay. Just popping in to say hello. Okay, Valerie, type the word question in caps, but I did see it because I'm watching. Do I block my hats flat or on a form or mannequin? I usually block it flat because I don't have a mannequin head at the moment. I remember, do you guys remember when I was little, do you remember those foam wig heads? Do you remember the styrofoam wig forms? My mom had one. I mean, this would have been in the 60s, right? Or in the early 70s. And I remember getting so in trouble for trying to pierce its ears and drawing on its eyebrows and stuff. I got in so much trouble for playing with the styrofoam head. But no, I do not have one, so I block them flat. Kathleen says, you have one in the attic. That's great. Yeah, I don't have a foam head. Yeah, I could find one. I don't care that much. I used to have some, there was a plastic form that was just kind of the outline, and it was two circle pieces that kind of fit together like nested like this and like a stand. But I can't find one of the pieces, so I just block it flat. Usually, honestly, unless it's for a gift, which the giveaway one will be, They don't last that long. When I knit a hat for somebody in my house, it comes off the needle and it gets used. I mean, I don't mess with it. Did I block the Norwegian Starhead? I have not yet. It's right here. I have not blocked it yet. It's still on my desk. In the mess on my desk. So there it is. There it is. So I don't know. I may or may not block this. I will, yes, I mean, I will kind of block it. I'm going to wash it gently before I send it off to whoever my giveaway winner is. And then I will obviously press it flat and let it dry. But it's going to get mailed, you know, folded up in an envelope. So yeah, if I came, I saw, I napped. I think your name is Steph. Maybe I'm wrong. If you've made that for yourself, I mean, I don't know. You can block it if you want to, but if you've made it for yourself, then I don't know. I guess I'm lazy. Jenny, I have not made an iCord video, but I certainly could. I can add that to my list of video things. I need a Post-it note. Okay, these are small, but I will use them. I have a file of video ideas, but I don't know where it is at the moment, so I'll write it down. iCord video is something you'd be interested in. I will be taking video suggestions for April. We will not be starting another knit along probably until May because of farm stuff in spring. And, you know, we got to get the garden in and all these things. So, right. So I probably won't we might start another knit along in May, maybe mid-May. I don't know. We'll have to decide. The other thing to consider there is I will be on vacation in June, and so I'll need to schedule videos ahead of time, which is totally doable. But I would need time to knit stuff and then do the videoing and then schedule it to go live when I'm on my vacation. So yes, iCord video. Okay. So when you say an iCord video, do you mean you want to see like how to do an applied iCord on the side of a shawl, or do you want to see how to make an iCord at the top of a hat, you know, the pokey uppy thing at the top of the hat, or both? Vicky says both. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I agree. Why can't I? Okay. iCord video question. How are you fellow knittos storing their completed blocks for the Norse? Good question, Lorraine. Hi from Canada. What part of Canada? Because we have several people in the group from all across Canada. One of our moderators, Val, she's in British Columbia. We have somebody who comes to Knit Night regularly who's from Nova Scotia. So yeah. I am storing them. I should add that to the next block of the month video, or maybe even make a separate little video about that. I'm storing mine in just a plastic. Oh, I have these rectangular plastic tubs that are only about, like, they're the kind of size that you'd slide under a bed, and they're only 5 or 6 inches deep, and they're kind of wide. And I'm putting mine in there after I block them because they lock down, and so then I don't have cats nesting on them. And then I'm also putting a little sachet in mine that has like sage or lavender because that's an insect deterrent. So Vicky says I'm almost done with my mystery gnome. Yay. Oh, what do I plant in the garden? Oh my gosh, you guys. I just ordered like a lot of seeds. When we plant our garden, it's a big deal because we prefer to eat from the pantry rather than the store. So we will end up with 250 to 300 tomato plants of various varieties because I can several hundred quarts of tomato products, whether that's salsa, spaghetti sauce. Sometimes I do tomato soup. I usually freeze that though. What else? It's just regular stewed tomatoes, but also like 30 to 50 quarts of salsa and then sauce, pints of sauce, because that's the whole entire year of lasagna, spaghetti, and pizza. So we have teenagers, we eat a lot of pizza. So then we do green beans, cucumbers, corn, stuff that goes in the freezer, and canning a lot, mostly that. But we're picky. And then we'll have regular, fresh stuff like spinach and salad, lettuce mix and spinach for salads all summer. I don't do a lot of like squash and and things I don't like. I do plant pumpkins though, because we like to carve them. I do freeze and puree pumpkins for pies later on, but also because I plant them for the livestock. Pumpkin seeds are a really good natural dewormer for goats. So, and they love the rinds, and yeah, the cows totally love them. Okay. And it's also a good companion crop to corn. So if you have your corn stalks, you can have your pumpkins vining all around, because corn takes a lot from the soil and squash gives back, or maybe it's vice versa. I forget. Anyway. Okay. Saskatchewan, New Brunswick. Wow, you guys. Ontario. That's fantastic. Hat blocking, use a balloon. That's a good idea. That's a great idea. I probably might maybe have some. Okay, both one more and more on the cord. Many uses of I-cord, such as jewelry and macrame, shoelaces, gift bows. Do I order my seeds from Baker Creek? I have in the past. I can't. Seeds are difficult here because we live at, my house is about 5,600 feet. So we're even a little bit higher than Denver. And it's very, very dry here. I've had some germination issues with Baker Creek, although they do have some wonderful varieties that are organic and non-GMO, which is super important to me. I also order a lot of seeds from Territorial in Oregon. I've had very good luck with germination with Territorial seeds. So Evelyn says, hopefully I'll join the next knit along. Too much on the go. Yep. Okay. A cooking video, gardening video? No, we're pretty well a knitting channel. See, the thing is I have a very dear friend who does a lot of cooking, gardening, farm, homestead videos. So a big shout out to Jill Winger. She's a dear friend of mine and is the author and blogger of the prairiehomestead.com. So if you haven't checked out her channel, you should. She's fantastic. I'll put that in the chat. And she has a new cookbook coming out, by the way. So if you want to know about down-home cooking, go there. Do I sell and ship the goat cheese? No, it doesn't last that long. I have teenagers. No, I don't know. Okay. Have you ever tried making ketchup? You know, I tried ketchup once. It didn't go very well. I think I need to hunt down a different recipe for ketchup. I would try that again, but I haven't done that lately. Oh, and then yes, Tammy, excellent. We have a truckload of peppers. My husband, he does jalapenos, bell peppers. He does 3 or 4 kinds of peppers, and of course that all goes in the stuff. And yeah, what are you thinking for the next knit along? I don't know. I would love. Okay, yes, I do know. I would love to do. There's a couple of shawl patterns I'd really like to do. Have you guys seen the 3-color cowl? I'm knitting my second one of those. So I'm on this one. I'm doing another 3-color cowl. The first one I did, remember, was like totally huge. So I love that, but it was massive. And now I'm making another one with the proper size yarn. And right. So this is more of like a turquoise color. It's coming up kind of blue on the screen, but it's really more of a turquoise-ish color. Let's see what they call it. Bluebird. They call it bluebird. Well, now you can kind of, I don't know. And then the black I have, and then my third color is some leftovers that I have will be this. Will be my third color. So that's my 3-color cowl. And another one, will you try a Celtic sock? I've done Celtic socks, but I'm not sure what you mean by Celtic. Do you mean Celtic cables or Celtic color work? Goat milk soap. Yep, goat milk soap is awesome. I've made it in the past. I don't normally because the milk gets made into cheese or yogurt or just had on cereal. We're all about the chocolate milk too. Okay, do you know where I can get dried lavender so I can make sachets for my craft room? I would try Etsy for that. So Melissa, I'm not sure what you mean by a Celtic sock. So specify, do you mean Celtic cables on a sock or Celtic color work? So I just picked up my yarn from Stash. Esmeralda, put what yarn you're using. That's awesome. I had this in my stash. This was from a long time ago. This is Wildfoot by Brown Sheep Company. Brown Sheep is in Mitchell, Nebraska. That's only about an hour and a half from me-ish. And they have like a seconds store, like Mill Seconds, where you can buy super inexpensive. So when I go over there, I kind of stock up. And then this black is not very expensive yarn either. This is just like Red Heart, Heart and Soul. I have had this in my stash for probably 20 years before I knew what like luxury yarn was about. So I've had it a long time. I've had this for about 10 years. This is, I can't say that, Steinbach Wool Active Color 100. So just stuff I had in a drawer, you know, that I just kind of put together. Love a video on double knitting. You know what? Double knitting is on my list of things as well. So, okay, Cowgirl Knits. I can't find the link that pertains to your knit-alongs. Is that still happening? You know, it isn't. That was the Cowgirl yarn. You can order from them certainly just by going to their website. But that was for that one knit-along that has since concluded. So you can go search them out online, absolutely, and order from them, and I'm certain they would appreciate it. But we don't have anything going on in partnership at the moment, is what I'm saying. Yes, I do have two crafts, collecting yarn and knitting. Well, I have several. Like the kids and I have started doing some other stuff too. Another thing that we're doing, well, mostly my older daughter, is doing penmanship. Not necessarily calligraphy, but script penmanship. So we've been talking about that a lot, and the importance of writing cursive legibly. And because our historical documents are written in cursive, you know, the Declaration of Independence and all of those things are written in cursive. So it's important that, I feel like it's important that the next generation can read that. So, right. So we've been doing that. We've been doing some penmanship and script lately. Bullet journaling is a thing I do too. So I'm all about bullet journaling and like washi tape, you know, things like that. So I'm into, bullet journaling, I guess, was a craft. I don't know. I didn't really think of it as a craft. It's kind of my planner system. What did I want to talk about tonight? I want to know what you guys want to do for the next knit along. Type that. I would like to talk about what your ideas are for that, and also what works in progress you have going on. So obviously I just finished the hat. I'm doing the 3-color cowl. I still have my mother's sweater, but I have to say, I have these socks going, right? My mother's sweater is kind of slow going. It's very tedious. So I'll show you brioche. You know, we might do brioche at some point. I'll tell you, I'm going to teach a brioche workshop at the retreat, and then I will have videos about that later. My mom's sweater is fantastic, but it's very tedious and it's difficult for me to do. It's hard for me to find time where I'm not going to be interrupted, so I got to keep my place. So this is what's going on with my mother's sweater. This is the back. So as you can see, it's very involved and it's fantastic. But yeah, it's taking a while. So you can see why. Right. And that pattern, it's on my Ravelry project page, but I'll show you because it's funny. And I know some of you have seen this before, but that pattern comes from Vogue Knitting, the summer of 1994. So I don't even know if you can get a hold of a back issue if you wanted to or not, but I'll show you what the whole thing looks like. That's what it will be at some point. But she's very patient. It was supposed to be like her birthday sweater last year in November. Yeah, didn't happen. And then obviously didn't happen for Christmas. So it's very tedious and I like it. I'm enjoying it, but I can't do it for hours and hours and hours. So that's kind of my issue there. Okay, 2 at a time. Bailey, we have done 2 at a time socks. If you look on the channel, there's a playlist called Scatterbee. The Scatterbee pattern we did 2 at a time last summer. Not that we can't do it again, but I'm just saying there is, if you're interested in that, in the meantime, before we would do another one. If you're interested in the 2 at a time toe up, then that is on the channel. Okay, Evelyn says she's on her 5th pair of Norwegian mittens. That's awesome. Oh, yay, Rosalia, you're working on your Inara wrap. That was fantastic. Rosalia once showed us her, in the group, she showed us her Inara shawl. It was black and red, if I recall, and it was beautiful. What about an easier sweater than my mom? Yes. Yes, we could. We did a, I'm not sure I want to do another sweater knit along. We could. It is quite an investment in terms of time knitting a sweater, but then again, a shawl is too, but I don't know. I'm kind of leaning toward the shawl. Okay, Lindsay has her whip is the shawl, the harvest cardigan, and the block. Yes, are you guys working on the block? Is the retreat for experts or beginners? Yes, beginners can go, absolutely. The workshops I'm going to be doing at the retreat will be geared to both. And that's why that's one reason I'm limiting the attendance, is because I want to be able to spend time with everybody. I want to be able to honor wherever you're at. If you're a beginner, then we'll go there. And if you're an experienced knitter, then you might just enjoy hanging out, and I will, maybe you have things to teach me. I mean, I don't claim to know everything there is to know. And then, it's about knitting together. It's about hanging out together and sharing. And, I will have an outline of a curriculum that I intended to go there. Right. So, but yes, beginners are absolutely welcome. And I will let you know when that's open to the general public. But like I mentioned, it's first going to be available. Registration will first be available to patrons. So if you're interested to know what that is about, I'll put a link here. Patreon is a platform where you can pledge financial support to the channel for as little as $5 a month. It's like, the price of a Starbucks. And that helps keep videos coming. And then there's some perks in exchange for that, like first rights to the events. We do patron-only knit night also, where it's a live format where we all see each other. Like the last patron knit night we had, there were 5 or 6 of us, and we can all see each other like in little Brady Bunch windows on the screen, and we visit and we show our work and we chat, and it was like 2 hours of laughing, and we all have our beverages, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. So you can check that out if you're interested. If not, that's fine too. No pressure at all. Just so you know. Knit along idea, a vest or a tank top. A vest is an idea. Oh, a Celtic vest, a cable, maybe cables. First time viewer, I want my husband to watch you because I knit and crochet. He doesn't understand how I can have so many projects. There's a video on my channel that it says yarn weights and whips. And I mean, I probably have 10 or 12 whips. My husband gets it. He totally gets it. He's supportive. He's the one that picked out all the colors. He picked out all the shades of gray for the Afghan knit along. My husband did that. He got online, he made a list, and yeah, he's into it. Okay, colorwork hat and mitten set. We might do that in the future, probably not next, because we just did the knit along with the colorwork hat. Rosalie will know when there's room for the retreat. Well, I'm going to open it up to patrons only, like I said, until... Well, we need to decide about that. How many weeks that will be open? At least a couple weeks it'll be open to patrons only first. And then I'll post in the group when it's open, registration's open to everyone. And I'll let you know if there is room or not. I do not yet have a video on adding buttonholes. If we do a sweater or vest that has, then obviously that would be part of the video. I don't have a piece going right now where I would have to do that. But if it comes up, then certainly I will. Okay, I would love to know why you slip knit, slip as if to knit, slip as if to purl. Reason tried both ways. It's a really negligible difference. I slip as if to knit and then purl. I think depending on the yarn you're using, I think it lays a little bit nicer. It's a super negligible difference. So, I mean, if you're knitting in such a way that you don't see a difference at all, then do it how you always do it. Okay. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying the customizable toe-up socks. You're not going back to cuff down. I like both. I tell you what, my default is probably cuff down just because that's how I learned. But I mean, I can do both, and I certainly see the advantages of both. Yeah. Okay. Socks for everyone, shawl and hat for my mom, hopefully done by Mother's Day. Woo, knit faster. Is that a vodka mixed drink? Yes, it is. Yes, I do enjoy my screwdriver. Deborah says, how do you sew a zipper into knitting? Oh, gosh. I take that to my mother. I I have a hoodie that I knitted. It was the olive branch. What was it called? Olive something yoga hoodie. I wore it in a video and somebody asked me, and it's on my project page. It's a hoodie. And I took it to my mom. But I think that she just stitched it all the way down the bound off edge or the slip stitch edge. I think she just stitched it into the side. Georgia says, question, can I do a knit night together and not be on screen? Yes. Georgia, yes, you can. You can not be on screen as a patron. You can choose not to start your video. That's totally fine. And just audio. Yeah, absolutely. You can not talk at all either and just kind of lurk, but we'd love to visit with you. But yeah, you don't have to start your video. There's no requirement on that. And the patron knit night is available to the appropriate tiers, and I think you are. But I send out emails to that level of sponsorship when we schedule them. Okay. Oh, great. Dee, thanks for subscribing. Oh, you guys subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I'm cruising up on 10,000 subscribers, and I'm super pleased about that. I would love to hit it by the end of the month, and I'll tell you why. It was right at 1 year ago, in the first week of April, 1 year ago, in 2018, that I hit 1,000 subscribers. And I was so excited. We were camping on the Oregon coast. It was spring break. And I remember doing a little happy dance because I had 1,000 subscribers. And at that point, I was then able to monetize my channel and, make a little like $10 or whatever. But I was super excited about it. So if I could hit 10,000 in the same week that happened, that'd be great. Okay. Thanks for responding. I knew it. Well, yes. All right. Hi, Jenna. This is Catalina from Texas. I'm new to your Ravelry. I'm on your Ravelry Norwegian hat group okay. I start the decreasing. Excellent. Good. Just post a photo in the groups if you're comfortable doing that. I'd love to see it when you're done. Okay. Cheryl says, whips in our shawl. Get after that, will you? The Afghan, yep. The Dean Street hat. I don't know about that one. And the second Norwegian star hat and the Soroyan. Maybe I'm not saying that right. Okay, you have a lot going on. And Vicky just purchased a heavy-duty sewing machine just so you can line my scarves and cowls. Wow, that's cool. All right, thumbs up on the, yes, Vicky, Lindsay, thank you for reminding. Do a thumbs up on the video too, because if you like the live streams, give me a thumbs up if you enjoy that, because YouTube gives me, the YouTube algorithms, when people like stuff, then it comes up more often as a recommended video in the sidebar to when people are watching other things. So then more people discover the channel. So hopefully that makes sense. So I appreciate the thumbs up. Woo, yay, thanks you guys. I just saw it go ding, ding, ding. That's makes me happy. Thank you. Okay, how about a capelet with a simple Celtic cable design? I'm not sure what a capelet is, but if you mean a small shawl, yes. On my project page, you'll see a Celtic cable shawl that I did last year for a fundraiser. And I'm trying to decide, that's what I was going to consider doing, a shawl for my fundraiser. So the one I did last year it's a really easy knit shawl, straight down, your regular increases from the top down. And then at the bottom, I don't have it physically because it was for a fundraiser, but at the bottom of the shawl, you cable cast on some extra stitches. Then you knit the cable knotwork across the bottom going the other direction. It's just fantastic. So check that out on my project page if you want. It was not simple, but it wasn't that hard either once you got into it. So thank you, Brenda. Oh, Caitlin, thank you. You guys are great. Made a cow that has alpacas on it. That's fun. Okay, cool. Thumbs up and share. Okay, question. Do you have plans for Ravelry for Dummies video? Because I could really use the help. Steph, if you look in the videos on the Facebook group, on the sidebar, if you're on a laptop or a regular computer, I'd have to look and see where it is on a phone. But on the sidebar, there is where it says videos. I have at least 2, 3 videos on how to use Ravelry in the Facebook group, if you're in there. One of them is how to make a link, because some people in the group super struggle with copying, pasting URLs and making links. So then another one is how to use Ravelry's advanced search function to narrow down what you want, because Ravelry is a fantastic place, but it's a valuable skill. But I don't want all that in my pattern searches. So there's some fantastic ways that you can filter out your results and narrow it down to find exactly what you want. And then I also have another one where we did a Q&A on Ravelry, and I went through like how to set up a project page, how to add photos, how to add your stuff. So there are at least 3 videos. One of them is like 45 minutes long. So search the videos on the Facebook group for that. Okay. I don't want to pry, but I want to send you a birthday present of the lace I make when not knitting. Will you share your address? Sure. I have a post office box because it's convenient for me. You know what I'll do? If you want, let's see. Send me a Facebook message if you want to know that. Send me an email. That would be the best thing to do. Send me an email, and then I'll send you my address. I'll put my email address in here. And then if you want to correspond that way, that's cool. Okay, there's my email. Yeah, like capelets are like a short poncho. Thank you. I realized that after I forgot. Yeah. Okay. Any favorite knitting related podcasts? You know, I just started watching the Sockmatician, Nathan Taylor. I watch him sometimes. Grocery Girls. I watch the Grocery Girls. I watch Christy Glass Knits some of the time. I watch her. It depends on what it's about. If you have swatching questions, I was in the middle of watching one of her more recent ones with Patty Lyons. That was pretty enlightening. Somebody posted that in the group and I wasn't aware of it. So that was pretty educational too. Can we do more color work? Well, sure. We'll switch it up. We will absolutely do more color work. We've done 2 knit-alongs with color work so far. We did the mittens a while ago and then the hat this time. Yeah, we will absolutely do more color work. Maybe not like next, but yes. Okay. If you want to know my address, just shoot me an email. Okay. When are you making the next knit along? Well, usually what I do is post in the groups and we kind of vote on what the next knit along is going to be, depending on what I have time for and what I feel comfortable teaching and what everybody else wants to do. So normally I post in the Facebook group, I'll put up a poll and it will say, do you want to knit a shawl, a cowl, a hat, socks, whatever. And then after we vote on the category, then people suggest patterns that they're interested in. And I go weed through those and I narrow it down to usually 2 or 3 or 4. And then we vote on those. So I usually post in the Ravelry group and the Facebook group and I solicit suggestions. So what's your favorite project and color? I don't know. That's like asking me what I want for lunch. It varies. It depends on what I'm into on the day. I love purple, obviously. My favorite colors are probably that kind of a teal-ish green. I wear a lot of black because now I have gray hair. And purple. I wear a lot of dark colors just because I think light colors it makes me look washed out because now I've gone gray. So favorite project, I will always love socks because they're portable, they go with me. If you mean overall, I don't know, it just depends. I didn't used to knit a lot of shawls and wraps, but kind of I'm into that now. Some of my favorite Ravelry features, Jill says, the filtering, the advanced search function is like my favorite Ravelry thing. Definitely good to learn. I think maybe what I should do, I did this on the Facebook group, but at the time I wasn't YouTubing regularly. So I think maybe what I'll do is solicit some of you to come to a webinar. I'm talking out loud. I'm thinking out loud. I'll post in the group when we're ready to do this. The Facebook group and the Ravelry do this, but I think maybe we should have a do-over with the Ravelry tutorial. And then, but be aware too that Ravelry really does have a fantastic wiki. They have a help section that's written tutorials. I can do a screen sharing video that shows, how to do maybe I should do that. I'm talking to myself here. I'm thinking out loud. Can you tell? Yeah, I should probably do an advanced search function tutorial for YouTube. But if you're in the Facebook group, there is one that exists. So, hi, Cindy. Glad you were able to make it. Oh, thanks, Jenny. That was my new email, bossknitter@pearltogether.com. I thought you'd appreciate that. Yes. Yeah, I have watched Fruity Knitting a little bit too. Yep, their interview with Lucy Haig, the designer of the Morvark shawl, that was fantastic. She's brilliant. I watched her segment on like the reverse cable knitting, and I was like, wow, brain splody. That was fantastic. So, yes. Rosanna, we will do color work again. We've done 2 already. So if you're interested in that, we just finished one. So go to the YouTube channel and check that out. That was kind of a beginner tutorial on color work. A pretty simple project. Jill, if I'm frozen or you're frozen, maybe you're frozen. I'm fashionably gray. Yes, thank you. I've earned every single one. I've earned them all. Thank you, Lindsay, for moderating the spammy stuff there. Appreciate that. How long do you knit in a day? I don't know. It depends. Depends on what I've going on. Less now in the spring, just because in another 2 weeks, what's today, the 26th? 2 weeks from today, I think Yes. 2 weeks from today, I think is when my cow is due. So I have about 2 weeks to do a bunch of knitting, and then I'll be back and forthing to the barn pretty much every 4 hours until everyone's born. So, and then it's gardening, seed starting, gardening. I mean, I knit less, I think, in the beginning of the summer just because I'm outside so much more. Yeah. Earth tones, yes. Earth tones, and for sure, too. Bye, Vanessa. Thanks for coming. Oh, Jill had to restart. Okay, question. Do you do so much tutorials, and maybe the projects you do are more for the public? So this is a request for your family. Oh, no. That's so thoughtful. That's so thoughtful of you. I knit a lot of stuff for my family that you guys don't ever see. So, like, for example, this was a very short and simple project. I mean, this didn't take me very long at all. And so the other time, since I'm only doing 1 video a week by design, I spend a lot of time knitting stuff for other people when I'm not knitting tutorials. So I definitely appreciate the thought. But my mother knits a lot for my kids as well. Okay. All right. Well, it's been almost an hour. So if you have other questions, go ahead and slam them in, and we'll be wrapping that up pretty soon. Jill says it only took me 3 months to get my first cup of tea sock done. But it's fantastic, and think how much you learned. I know it took a long time, but you also work away from home full time. So, I mean, I can come in the house at lunchtime and knit for half an hour and then go back out. Or, I mean, I work from home. And so that's a lot easier to squeeze in knitting time. I also don't sleep as much as I should, probably. So, yeah. Thanks for coming, Cheryl. Have a good supper. Yeah. My husband's making dinner, so I'll go eat here in a few minutes. Yes. Okay. So let me know. I look for those things. I will post in the group. Probably we won't start another knit along until late April. But I feel like there's a lot of people that need to finish up the things we've been doing. Like a lot of people have their Inara wraps in timeout. People are doing their hats, which was a shorter knit along, which was nice. Yeah, it was nice. And then I don't know. We'll have to see what we want to do. If you want to do something cable-y, Celtic, I would be all. Oh, I know what. Here, I'm going to type this in and see what you guys think about this one. Go to Ravelry and look this up because I can't put a link, or Lindsay could maybe put a link. The Scrollwork Shawl by Very Busy Monkey. She is brilliant. She is a university teacher of what I don't know, and I don't know much other than that. But she has some fantastic shawl designs. The woman is brilliant. I would love to do a knit along with one of hers. And then probably I would use that for this fundraiser thing that I want to knit something for. So that's a possibility. But and if you've ever, yes, thank you, Lindsay. You're brilliant. If you have ever watched my video about tinking, frogging, and righteous ripping, the first time I attempted the scroll work shawl, I actually finished it. I was down to the border, and I saw several mistakes way back at the beginning because it's knitted from the top down, and it was way back at the beginning, so like the back of the neck area, I could not unsee it, and I couldn't fix it. And I ripped the whole thing. It was like 1,200 yards. Right. So, yeah, you can watch my mom and I rip that shawl in that video. So I would love to re-knit that since I ripped the first one. Question, are you going to continue the Afghan monthly? Yes. Nora's Vintage Knit Along? Yes, absolutely. We're only on block 3. Block 3 will come out next Tuesday. So the first Tuesday of each month will be the block. And that will happen until we're done. So the next year and a half will be a block the first Tuesday of every month. Oh, the fundraiser is, okay, the kind of cows that I have are Irish Dexter cattle. They're smaller than your regular commercial, Hereford or Angus. They're a heritage breed. And it's for their annual American Dexter Cattle Association fundraiser. It's a thing. But it's an Irish Dexter, so I like to knit something Irish cable-y, Celtic knotwork for that purpose. So, where are you on the project that the cat wrecked? Oh, well, I frogged it. I need to start over. Yeah, I need to start over the Morvark shawl. Yeah, which is fantastic. We could do that. Oh, that would be great. I'm not giving that away, though. If I do that again, I'm keeping it. But that is definitely not a beginner project. That is one of the most challenging things I have ever done. And it's fantastic, but it is not a beginner project. And maybe that's okay. We don't have to do a beginner thing every single time. Yeah, I'm still on block 2, halfway done. That's okay. That's totally okay. Block 3 video will come out next Tuesday. And it's awesome. Oh, one thing I want to say about the block 3 video before you guys look at the chart and freak yourselves right out. Don't freak out. Okay, it looks daunting. It's not. It's easier than block 2. The reason it looks scary is because they printed all 69 rows right here. Whereas the other ones, you've got 12 rows that you repeat because it's the same thing. Repeated 12, 12, 12, right? It's the same thing. This is not necessarily repeated, so they had to print all 69 rows. But if you look in the middle here, that's all knits and purls. There's no cables. Easy. It's easier than number 2. Not to worry. Okay. So, hang on just a second. I'm dealing with some inappropriate spam things. I apologize. People are awful. Okay. Just sent a request to the Facebook group. It says it's a closed group. Yes. All that means is that a moderator will approve your membership into that group. You just need to answer the questions. Answer the questions that you were asked when you requested admittance. Okay, do you know if the Dutch heel can be used on a toe up as well as a cuff down? I've never tried the Dutch heel on toe up. I do not know the answer to that question. The Dutch heel that I have knitted once a long time ago was in the book Folk Socks by Nancy Bush. That's one of the very first sock I ever knitted was from the classic sock pattern in that book. And she has a chapter on different heels. But I believe it's cuff. I haven't tried it toe up. Oh, Cindy, don't worry. There's no behind. There's no behind. So, yeah, it's fine if you're still on block number 1. There's no time frame here. It's when you get to it. The videos will be available indefinitely. So, not to worry. Okay. All right. So, if you guys don't have any more questions, and that'll be a wrap for this evening. Okay. Oh, well, I do drink slowly. Yes, because I'm talking and reading. So, yes, and I'll have the rest with my dinner. All right, good night, Bailey. All right, good night, you guys. Thanks for coming. If you have questions for the next knit along, what I normally do is I post in the groups, in the Facebook and Ravelry group, I post a few days ahead of time, ahead of the Knit Night live stream schedule, and you can put your questions there as well, and then I would just print them out and read them. So if you're not able to attend live and you wanted me to read and answer your question here so that you would have it on the replay, you could do that too. All right. All right. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Take care, you guys, and happy knitting.